Lorraine Brahma. Me falni, por unak flas juarnskip, vetem anglisht. Pra, ponism. Metaxyum. Grouping, moving, spreading. During an exploration of the art phenomena and movements in 20th century, an exhibition appeared, with a very short lifespan, but with a long-lasting echo. It was the presentation, this is not the exhibition, but the opposite of it, of a group founded in 1984 under the name Philo Art. Although this phenomenon, Philo Art, is still active, however, it resembles quite a bit with its form of origin. Development to the group, and the way to anonymity. Before the beginning of its activity, 1983, this emerging group would deal with the treatment and clarification of some very elementary questions, such as: which are the possible forms of workspaces for somebody who deals with art? Who is the maker of the work of art? To whom does the work of art belong? To whom do the copyrights belong? As a consequence of these analysis, the logical conclusion is that the form of activity and organization would be a group. This group had no public appearance, but acted in anonymity. Thus, all the attention would be focused only on what the group sees as important, and that would be its final work. At the beginning of its activity, the group was confronted with different periods of art history, with their influences in art as well as in society. Citing various works from the history of art, the group made comparisons and reconsidered them, the works, in an eclectic form. The meaning of the original work and its copy, the rereading and the re-examination of the art history are some of the main themes that build and maintain the construct of Philo art works. The group also worked with the study of different types of presentations in the history of art. These forms of presentations will later also reflect, in their own way, of the presentation. One of the concepts of Philo art at this time was that the exhibitions themselves become the topic of the exhibition. Between 1984 and 1986, the group produced a large number of works that would later be the base of the narrative of the exhibition. In 1986, the concept of the presentation of the works was prepared and titled, "This is not an exhibition, but the opposite of it." This, the opposite of the exhibition, was exhibited that year in Skiathos, and a year later in Pristina. In May 1987, the presentation took place in Rijeka. The event escalated quickly. After the opening, the exhibition was attacked by the state media, with no arguments, including insinuations and manipulative statements in order to discriminate the works and the author. Immediately after the media attack, the works were controlled by state police and then the exhibition was banned. Due to the political circumstances of that time, there was no opportunity to present and explain this exhibition with facts and arguments. It took more than 30 years to create the necessary circumstances for the presentation of this mysterious exhibition. Through this presentation, analysts, art historians, but first of all, the general public, are given an opportunity to see and judge this exhibition for themselves. Grouping, moving, spreading. In 2017 came a cooperation between the World Anonymous Society W.A.S. as the largest collector of Philo art artworks and the activists as the founders of the archives for Philo art. In February 2018, they completed a concept for a presentation of the group, movement Philo art and their influence. At the same time, the concept was presented to the director of the National Gallery of Kosovo, Madam Arthur Gani. The activists and W.A.S. have conceived the narrative of the exhibition and the concept book in the form of metaxy. Grouping. The first layer of the presentation displays the works of the Philo art group from their 1987 exhibition, such as Copy of Detail of Altamira, Graphic, 1984, Supremakunst Installation, 1986, or Lighting Square, Video Installation, 1986. The works are located in the context of time. Documents, newspaper articles, documentary films, artifacts and works by different artists from different periods accompany the main exhibition. This lateral side information will help the observer to come closer to this period in order to experience the time when this event occurred. On the one hand, a photo documentation is available from the activists' archive providing an accurate picture of this event. This is not the exhibition, but the opposite of it. On the other hand, this photo documentation creates a visual space-time and gives a possibility to the public to make an analysis of the social and cultural level of the place of the presentation. The work, Neoplasticism in Time, which focuses on censorship and the prohibition of works at different periods of art history, takes a special place in this presentation. Documentary films, photographs, books and artifacts offer an opportunity to make parallels between these prohibited exhibitions and political systems in which they were presented. Most of the works of philo art are well preserved and will be presented to the public in their original form. Works that have disappeared or have been damaged during the last war, 1999, will be replaced with replicas, photos or artifacts of the time. Moving. The second layer of presentation represents the development of the idea of philo art and shows the transformation from a group into a movement. While the philo art group split up in the late 1980s, several groups were formed during the early 1990s, such as Sandler Family, Psychiatry Washington, DNK, LEO, Mrs. Brainwash, URA, Globaldromia, PMS. These groups initially used the working principles and functioning mode from philo art. With the emergence and organization of these 8 groups, the philo art movement was built. In this part of the exhibition, some of the selected works of this movement are presented: Kunst Crematorium, Art Crematory, 1995, Architectural Concept, How Long Is Now, 1997, Mural or IRASC, 2002, Activism. Spreading. The Philo Art Archive, 2012, made by the activists, is presented in the third layer of the exhibition. The activists have been collecting material of philo art's activity for years. The collected data has been digitized and placed on an internet platform where people interested in this topic have possibility to the access to this information. The album and a part of the exhibition, Entartiet Kunst Metaxyum, 2017, by World Anonymous Society W.A.S, is presented in the fourth layer. This is a presentation and, at the same time, different journey through the history of art. Presented works belong to different periods of time, from prehistory to the present day. With comparisons of the works through centuries, 2 types of worldviews and visions, with opposite directions, are made visible. While one view deals with the examination of the unknown, the other view is a kind of rear view and it turns to the known past. Summary. Through a small change of angles in viewing art and its history, its whole meaning changes. The metaxy, groping, moving, spreading presentation can be viewed as a kind of time machine, which through elaborating, collecting and presenting works from the past, inter alia, tangent as a builder of some other layers of memory, and at the same time questioning what memory is and from which moment does it start to become memory,